Are you prepared for what's coming? Because if you're not, this winter could be downright devastating for you and your family. Last year wasn't just bad, it was unrelenting. The winter of 2024 saw temperatures so brutal that nearly 1.5 million people were left shivering in darkness as power grids failed under the pressure. Families were stranded, powerless and desperate as blackouts spread across the Northeast. And this year, it's shaping up to be even worse. Energy costs are spiraling out of control, rising more than 30% year over year, while natural gas shortages left millions scrambling for answers. Experts are warning that heating oil could become nearly impossible to get, and if you can find it, it won't come cheap. Food prices are climbing too, squeezing already strained households, while inflation shows no signs of slowing down. And here's the kicker: America's power grids are still shaky, fragile, and vulnerable. One harsh storm is all it takes to send us into chaos. Forget about waiting another day, this is the time to act. Every second you delay narrows your chances of staying safe and warm when the shelves go empty. Today we're breaking down 8 critical things you absolutely must grab before the panic hits. Don't wait, it could cost you more than you realize. One fire extinguisher, the lifesaver you can't afford to ignore. Listen closely, it's probably the most terrifying thought on this list. Every winter, countless families lose everything because of fires. And here's the kicker, it's almost always preventable. When the power goes out, people start using candles, fireplaces, makeshift stoves, and those small portable heaters. But here's the harsh reality: when desperation sets in, mistakes happen. And in winter's worst moments, those mistakes can be deadly. Picture this: you're stuck in a blackout during a snowstorm. It's pitch black, no heat, no light, and temperatures are plummeting. You light a candle or turn on a space heater, never expecting the disaster that follows. Maybe a candle gets knocked over by your pet, or maybe the heater, already working overtime, sparks something nearby. Before you know it, a small flame grows into an unstoppable fire. And here's the brutal truth: help isn't coming. Blocked roads, impassable ice, emergency services stretched thin to their breaking point. When that fire breaks out, you're on your own. And by the time fire crews even attempt to reach you, it's too late. The moment that spark catches, the next few minutes decide everything. Without a high-quality fire extinguisher, you, your family, and everything you've worked for are at serious risk. Now forget those flimsy little cans some people keep under the sink. They're not going to cut it here. You need a real fire extinguisher built to tackle serious danger. A Class A BC extinguisher must be your go-to. Why? Because during winter, the types of fires you face can vary, and trust me, none of them are forgiving. Wooden materials catching fire from that fireplace? A curtain going up in flames? And scarier still, an electrical fire sparked by faulty space heaters or generators? Water won't save you. Pouring water on an electrical fire could be a fatal mistake. Here's another kicker: fires spread faster in winter. Dry, heated indoor air turns fabrics into kindling for flames. Seconds count, and you'll never make it out safely without an extinguisher ready to go. Don't bury it in some closet or remain clueless about how it works. Mount it in your kitchen or main living space where danger is most likely to strike. Make sure everyone in your household knows where it is and how to use it. Every winter we hear of homes burned, lives lost, and families shattered by tragedies that could have been stopped. Don't gamble with your survival. A fire extinguisher isn't an option, it's the line between a minor scare and a horror story you'll never escape. Get one now. Be ready. Stay alive. Do wool blankets and sub-zero sleeping bags your shield against the cold. If you think that flimsy fleece throw on your couch is going to save you when temperatures plummet below freezing, think again. This isn't about comfort, it's about survival. Lightweight blankets won't cut it when the mercury drops and your home starts feeling more like a walk-in freezer. What you need are wool blankets and sub-zero rated sleeping bags, and trust me, they're not optional. Here's the cold, hard truth. When the power goes out and the inside of your house falls to the 30s or 40s, you're not just cold, you're in real danger. Hypothermia doesn't wait for an invitation, and it doesn't care if you're indoors. Without proper insulation, your body temperature can drop dangerously fast. You may not feel it right away, but once it sets in, it's life-threatening. That's why anyone serious about winter prepping should get wool blankets, real survival-grade wool blankets, and heavy-duty sleeping bags rated for sub-zero conditions. Why wool? Wool isn't just warm, it's a fighter. It traps heat better than almost any other material, even if it gets wet. That's right. Unlike synthetic materials that become useless when damp, Wool holds onto 80% of its insulating properties, even soaked. Picture this: your pipes burst, soaking everything in sight, or condensation starts forming on windows and walls. Synthetic blankets won't protect you in those conditions. Wool will. It retains warmth when everything else fails, making it the go-to fabric for survivalists and explorers for centuries. Now, don't fool yourself into thinking one thin blanket is enough. You're going to need layers. Each wool blanket adds another barrier between you and the freezing air. The more, the better. And when it comes to sleeping bags, forget about the summer camping kind. You want serious winter provisions: a sleeping bag designed to keep you alive in sub-zero temperatures. Here's the kicker: those ratings don't mean snug and cozy, they mean you won't freeze to death. A proper sleeping bag captures your body heat, keeping it in and the deadly cold out. But the setup matters too. Sleeping directly on the floor? That's a rookie mistake. Cold air settles low, and floors will drain your body heat faster than anything else. Use blankets, a sleeping pad, or even an air mattress. Anything to create a buffer between you and that icy floor. And don't assume, oh, I live in a mild climate. This won't happen to me. Remember Texas. Unexpected winter storms are becoming more frequent and more brutal. If you wait until it's your home turning into an icebox, it'll already be too late. Here's the bottom line. Wool blankets and sub-zero sleeping bags aren't just helpful, they're life-saving. The cost of these essentials is climbing every day, and when winter hits, they'll be gone. Stock up now while you still have the chance. Because when the panic starts and the shelves empty, being caught without them isn't just uncomfortable, it's outright dangerous. Don't leave yourself and your family out in the cold. Get prepared today. 3 camping stove and non-perishable foods: the difference between hunger and survival. All right, time to face some harsh truths. Picture this: you're in the middle of a brutal winter storm. The power is out, your home is freezing, and suddenly you realize something terrifying. Your electric stove? Useless. Your microwave? Worthless. And if you think you can live off a couple of cans of cold beans, you're setting yourself up for disaster. A camping stove isn't a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. When everything else fails, that camping stove becomes your lifeline. We're not talking about just satisfying your hunger here, we're talking about survival. A hot meal in freezing temperatures isn't just comforting, it's fuel for your body. Calories keep you alert, energized, and most importantly, warm. When the cold starts to sap every ounce of your strength, those hot meals can mean the difference between making it through the cold night or succumbing to it. Here's the ugly reality. When news of a storm spreads, panic buying sets in. Grocery store shelves get wiped clean within hours, sometimes minutes if it's serious. Remember last winter? Entire aisles were stripped of essentials overnight. The unprepared were left scrambling, forced to make do with scraps. And with inflation pushing the cost of food higher than ever, those last-minute purchases will destroy your wallet. Worse yet, in the throes of a storm, there may not be anything left to buy. That's why it's crucial to prepare right now. Get yourself a sturdy camping stove, one that's reliable and easy to operate when panic hits. Oh, and don't forget the fuel. Those propane canisters fly off the shelves faster than you can say power outage. If you don't stock up ahead of time, you could be left staring at a useless stove with no way to use it. But a camping stove is only half the equation. You need to pair it with the right non-perishable foods. Think survival staples, foods packed with calories, nutrients, and energy. Canned soups, stews, meats, peanut butter, oats, rice, or pasta. These aren't just foods to fill your stomach, they're what will power your body through the cold. And here's the kicker: don't just grab any random canned goods. Focus on items that are high in calories and easy to heat. Freeze-dried meals? Lifesavers. Lightweight, nutritious, and nearly indestructible when stored properly, they're perfect for emergencies. Just add hot water, and you've got a warm, satisfying meal that can restore your strength in minutes. And don't forget, water. Your stove won't work without it. If your pipes freeze or tap water becomes unsafe, you'll need bottles, purification tablets, or even a water filter to keep you covered. Now, imagine this. It's the dead of winter. You're shivering, hungry, and exhausted. Without a hot meal, that cold seeps deeper, sapping your energy, chilling you to the bone. Don't let it come to that. That camping stove, those emergency foods, they're your insurance against winter's worst. Stock up, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay alive. 4 battery-powered radios and solar chargers, your lifeline in the dead of winter. Imagine this: you wake up to a frozen, silent world. The power is out, the streets are buried in snow, your heater is dead, and so is your Wi-Fi. Your phone battery? It's quickly draining, and once it's gone, so is your connection to the world. No news, no emergency alerts, no way to get in touch with loved ones or find out what's coming next. Scary, right? That's exactly why a battery-powered radio isn't just a helpful gadget, it's the one thing that could save you when you're cut off from the grid. The harsh truth is this: when power outages hit during severe winter storms, chaos unfolds. Power companies might take days or even weeks to restore electricity. Cell towers. They can fail just as easily, leaving you completely isolated without a way to find out if help is on the way or if conditions are getting worse by the minute. That's why you need a reliable AM/FM radio with NOAA weather alerts. Not the cheapest knockoff you can find, but one that's portable, well-built, and designed to operate even when things go sideways. The best ones out there aren't just radios, they're survival tools. Many come with hand cranks or solar panels, so they'll never leave you stranded. Some even have USB ports for charging your phone in a pinch. Think about that, a backup to your backup plan. When the snow is piling up outside, roads are impassable, and emergency crews are stretched thin. That radio will give you critical updates on storms, evacuation orders, or rescue efforts. It keeps you informed and prepared when everything else is falling apart. But you can't stop there. A solar charger is equally important. Picture this: your phone dies, leaving you without any way to communicate or check updates. A portable solar charger can bring it back to life, keeping you connected as long as there's daylight. It's like having a lifeline that doesn't rely on the grid. A quality solar charger paired with a power bank means you'll have juice to keep devices running into the night. Stockpile energy during the day, and you're ready to go even when the sun sets. And here's the kicker: don't wait until the first storm warning hits. When people panic, batteries, radios, and chargers vanish from the shelves faster than you can blink. You don't want to be the one left scrambling, trying to find power while the rest of the neighborhood goes dark. Staying connected isn't just about convenience, it's about survival. A radio gives you information. A solar charger gives you the power to act on it. Together, they're your lifeline in the dead of winter. Get them now. Don't wait until you hear the silence. 5 flashlights and extra batteries, your armor against the darkness. Imagine this winter's icy grip takes out the power grid in your area. The sun has set, and suddenly your home isn't just dark, it's an endless void of shadows where every step invites an accident. You reach for your phone, but its flashlight drains your precious battery in minutes. Now you're truly stranded in the dark, vulnerable and unprepared. Terrifying, isn't it? This is why flashlights and extra batteries are critical for surviving winter blackouts. This isn't a luxury, it's about safety, survival, and sanity. Think about every room in your home. When the lights go out, do you really want to stumble into walls or furniture, risking a twisted ankle or worse? You need reliable flashlights, and not just 1 or 2 shoved in a drawer. You need enough to light up every room in your house. And not those flimsy, dim lights that barely illuminate more than a few feet ahead. No, you need heavy-duty, high-lumen flashlights that can transform a pitch-black room into a bright, safe space. Here's the harsh truth: flashlights mean nothing without batteries, and once the panic starts, batteries disappear from store shelves instantly. Stockpile now. D-cell, if it powers a flashlight, grab it. You'd be shocked how fast you can burn through a pack during a prolonged blackout. And don't just get 1 pack and think you're set. You'll need more than you think for weeks of potential outages. Want to level up? Invest in rechargeable batteries and make sure you have a hand crank or solar charger to keep them topped off. That way, even when stores are empty, you'll still have reliable light. Another tip: store your batteries in a cool, dry place to ensure they're ready when you need them. Preparation isn't just smart, it's necessary when the worst happens. But don't stop at flashlights. Add headlamps to your arsenal. Why? They keep your hands free, so whether you're cooking, repairing something, or even just navigating your home, you won't have to juggle light in one hand. And lanterns. They're a game changer. Modern LED lanterns can illuminate entire rooms, making your home feel less eerie and more livable during a crisis. If you have children or elderly family members, the darkness can be especially frightening for them. A couple of small battery-powered nightlights in their rooms can ease anxiety and keep their space familiar amid the chaos. It's a small comfort that can make a big difference. When the next big storm hits and millions are left in the dark, don't be the one fumbling for answers or light. Flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and batteries aren't negotiable. They're your shield against the dangerous, unnerving blackouts that can strike without warning. Stock up, stay prepared, and make sure when others are trapped in darkness, your home is safe, bright, and secure. Because in winter's darkest moments, light isn't just convenience, it's survival. 6 carbon monoxide alarms, the silent killer you can't ignore. All right, listen up. If there's one thing on this list that could literally save your life while you sleep, this is it. Carbon monoxide, known as the silent killer, doesn't make noise, doesn't give off a smell, and you'll never see it coming. It's the invisible threat hiding in plain sight, and it's waiting for the moment you least expect. Here's the terrifying part. Every winter, countless families unknowingly expose themselves to this deadly gas. During the Texas freeze, over 1,400 people were poisoned by carbon monoxide. 1,400. Dozens of those didn't make it. These were families just like yours, trying to keep warm with generators, gas heaters, or even fireplaces. They had no idea the very thing keeping them alive in the cold was also silently killing them. That's the brutal reality of winter emergencies. When heaters fail and storm after storm leaves people desperate, they start to cut corners. A gas heater here, a generator in the garage there, and suddenly carbon monoxide fills the air. Here's the kicker: you won't even realize it's happening. You won't hear it, you won't smell it, you won't see it, and by the time you feel dizzy or nauseous, it could already be too late. Don't make the fatal mistake of thinking this couldn't happen to you. If you're using anything that burns fuel to stay warm during a blackout, even just a fireplace, you need a carbon monoxide alarm. It's not optional. It's the barrier between you and a gas that steals your oxygen, scrambles your brain, and can take your life in minutes. Yes, minutes? Here's how it works. Carbon monoxide attacks your body by replacing the oxygen in your blood. At first you feel tired or get a slight headache, but as the levels rise, you become disoriented, confused, you can't even move to save yourself. And in your sleep, you won't wake up. This is why you don't gamble with this. A carbon monoxide alarm is simple, affordable, and battery-powered, meaning it works even when the grid is down. One alarm in each major room can give you the critical warning you need to get out alive. Make sure you pick one with loud alerts, test it regularly, and make it a part of your winter prepping essentials. Every winter, the headlines appear: families lost because they didn't have this one device. It's a tragedy that doesn't have to happen. Don't be another statistic. Don't wait until you're desperate to realize how important this tiny device is. Go out today, buy a carbon monoxide alarm or two, and install them immediately. 7. Plastic sheeting and duct tape, your defense against the icy grip of winter. Let's cut to the chase. Plastic sheeting and duct tape might not seem like survival essentials at first glance, but in the dead of winter, they could mean the difference between enduring the storm or freezing in your own home. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. When the temperatures hit rock bottom and power grid failures leave you without heat, you'll want every tool at your disposal to hold on to that last precious shred of warmth. And these 2 items? They're your front line of defense. Here's a grim reality. When frigid air seeps into your house, it doesn't creep, it invades. Even a small draft can transform your once cozy home into an icebox. Think losing 10, maybe 20 degrees in a single room just from a drafty window. Now picture this happening during widespread power outages. No heat, no way to fight back against the biting cold. A house that's supposed to protect you turns into a freezer, threatening your comfort and your life. This is where plastic sheeting and duct tape step in as your silent saviors. Properly applied, plastic sheeting can block out freezing air by creating a seal over your windows and doors, stopping that icy blast right in its tracks. Add some heavy-duty duct tape to secure it, and now you've essentially created a vapor lock. This setup alone can keep one room in your house up to 20 degrees warmer than the rest. 20 degrees doesn't just sound nice, it's the difference between surviving a cold night and succumbing to frostbite or hypothermia. And you're not limited to just windows. Use this duo to seal unused rooms, block drafty doorways, and even cover vents. Think of every little crack and crevice in your home as an escape route for precious warmth. If you don't seal them up, the cold will leach in, and your house will lose temperature faster than you can imagine. Don't take that risk. And I have to stress, this hypothermia isn't just for those caught in the elements. Every winter, it happens indoors when families are forced to make do during outages. Children, the elderly, and people with health conditions are especially vulnerable. Don't wait until it's too late to realize just how critical these supplies are. For just a few bucks, stock up on plastic sheeting and a couple of rolls of heavy-duty duct tape. Not only will they save you during an emergency, but they'll also help you save on heating bills all winter long. Don't gamble on outdated windows or toughing it out when weather extremes push you to the edge. The time to prepare is now before the panic starts and store shelves are wiped clean. 8 propane heaters and tanks, your last line of defense against winter's worst. All right, folks, we need to talk about a critical lifeline you cannot afford to overlook: propane heaters and fuel. Picture this. The power's out, the cold is creeping through your walls, and the temperatures inside your home plunge faster than you can throw on extra blankets. Without a reliable heat source, those freezing nights might not just be uncomfortable, they could become deadly. Think I'm exaggerating? During Buffalo's catastrophic 2022 winter storm, dozens of people froze to death in their own homes. Families were left huddled in the dark, battling against a cold that showed no mercy. Some even resorted to lighting charcoal grills indoors in a desperate attempt to stay alive, a choice that led to carbon monoxide poisoning and tragic outcomes. This wasn't a fluke. This happens every single winter. The truth is, you don't need to be a victim of the cold. A propane heater can save your life and the lives of those you love. But here's the wake-up call: when the first major snowstorm hits, these heaters are going to vanish from store shelves faster than a snowflake melts on your tongue. Waiting to buy one is not an option. Get one now. Why propane? It's simple. Propane is shelf-stable, meaning that unlike gasoline, it doesn't go bad over time. You can stockpile it today and still rely on it for winters to come. Start thinking bigger. Skip the tiny 1-pound cylinders. They may work in a pinch, but if the power's out for days or worse, weeks, they won't last long. Go for the 20-pound tanks instead. These grill-sized tanks are sturdier and provide enough fuel to keep you warm when the cold refuses to quit. Now, some of you may be worried about safety. I get it, propane indoors sounds risky, but here's the deal: modern propane heaters are made with indoor use in mind. They come equipped with oxygen sensors and automatic shut-off features that make them safe and reliable. Just make sure to follow the instructions, ventilate your space, and keep your carbon monoxide detector working. With these precautions in place, this heater becomes your best ally when all else fails. Here's the real power of a propane heater: it lets you create a warm, livable area even when the rest of your house feels like an icebox. That concentrated warmth can keep your core temperature stable, prevent frostbite, and preserve your health. You can rely on it for heating, but if you already use propane tanks for cooking, you've got double the value. Here's why you shouldn't wait: propane prices are climbing along with everything else. Once winter panic sets in, prices will soar higher and stores will be picked clean. You don't want to end up fighting for scraps while huddling under 5 layers of blankets. Now is the time to stock up on both heaters and fuel. Winter isn't taking it easy on anyone this year. When those first Arctic winds blow and the snow starts piling up, you'll want to be ready. A propane heater and stock tanks could be the one thing standing between you and winter's icy grip. Protect yourself, protect your family. Prepare now, before it's too late. Winter's challenges are unforgiving, but with preparation you can face them head-on. These 8 essentials: plastic sheeting, duct tape, propane heaters, and everything in between, are not luxuries, they are lifelines in the face of extreme cold and power outages. Taking proactive steps before winter's wrath arrives is not just about comfort, it's about survival. Don't wait for the shelves to empty out or for the temperatures to drop. Act now, while supplies are available and affordable. Ensuring you have these items today means you'll have peace of mind tomorrow, knowing you can protect yourself and your loved ones when icy conditions strike. Winter is inevitable, but chaos doesn't have to be. Stay prepared, stay safe, and take control of your winter survival.